I can't wait to show you what a project looks like 6 years after we finish it. We just came back here and we did a little bit of extra cleanup work for this client, and I want to show you how it looks. We did this project back in 2019. We put in all of this decorative concrete. You can see the driveway over here. We built these walls. We put in all of this beautiful planting. These little plants were about this big when we put them in 6 years ago, and check them out now. These beautiful daisies, they just look so nice. This part of the project right here, this used to be an old, I think it was asphalt, and it just looked terrible. It was all cracked up. Now it's this beautiful sandstone colored decorative concrete. It's got the texture, it's got the color. We even have the little grout lines. Believe it or not, people think this is flagstone all the time because you can see the natural contour of the stamp that we use, and then we color the grout. It looks real. Notice right here how we filled in this little gap with natural flagstone. Look how similar the color is here between these two. This is the concrete, this is the actual flagstone, so it looks really good. And we put these caps here as an accent. These are Arizona buff flagstone caps that we put on. I think they're about 4 inches thick. Yep. And we had these installed just at these key points. So on either side of the entrance and flanking on each far end. You'll notice here just recently, this is what we got called back for recently. We added this beautiful Arizona buff flagstone pass-through point. You can see the nice angle that we took to pass through. What we call this area is the parkway. It's the space between the street and the sidewalk. So you can see how nice this looks as you pass through. Don't forget to color your grout lines. You've heard me talk about this before if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, but this is colored grout. You can see it's actually still wet here. It's going to be drying over time, but we literally just recently completed this. And then you'll notice this wall goes all the way up to the edge of the property, and it frames the property going all the way back. So this is a stucco finished wall, a smooth stucco. Here's the other side of that wall with this beautiful Arizona buff cap. More of these daisies. This is the new fresh mulch that we just put through here. One of my favorite additions is this nice metal gate, okay? This thing is sturdy, all right? It's not gonna bend, it's not gonna warp or twist. It's always gonna be there for you when you need to come through. All right, so when we came to this property, first of all, keep in mind, none of these plants were here, all right? None of this concrete was here, none of these rocks were here. This was just a bunch of weeds and overgrown bushes and plants. So what we did is we designed a project that was going to accommodate the water flow, because we're on a hill here, we're on the Santa Barbara Mesa, and you can see how this property is higher than this one. So our client Judy called this side of her house the wet side of the house because it was constantly wet. The dirt literally sloped in this side yard from this upper property down toward this lower part of the wall. And so the water was always getting stuck here. It was constantly wet and just stinky even. So what we did is we sloped everything back. If you look carefully, perfect timing right now with the sunlight being here. This is the one part of the day when we get sunlight here. But you'll notice how everything slopes back this way, okay? Even the walkways angle just slightly. And then we put in this dry creek. Notice, if you look in this dry creek, you can see the green on the rocks. That's because there's constant moisture in this area. And the beautiful thing about it is we made the front part of this dry creek lower than the back. So as the water comes in, you'll notice it plumbs down through this downspout from the roof. We added this extra oversized K gutter. This is a 6-inch gutter now. We did that to capture all of the water. That extra inch on the edge of this gutter captures a lot more water than the typical 5-inch gutter. And so as the water comes down, it plumbs right into this dry creek. Look at all the moss just growing on here. This is beautiful. This is local Santa Barbara moss. See that? It gets just a little bit of light during this one time of the day, and that's all it needs to just grow and flourish. And then the water just goes right on out. Cameraman, why don't you come back here? I just want to show these guys how beautiful this pathway is. I'm going to step aside. Just look at the curve. So we planned this out. This is, again, not real stone. This is decorative concrete. It's stamped and grouted to look very real, and you can see the texture in it, and you can see these grout lines. By the way, if you're wondering, these grout lines are about 1 inch thick. Maybe, actually, looks like more like 3/4 of an inch thick. See that there? All right, so this texture looks really good, especially with this lighting right now. And notice We didn't put this perfectly straight. We intentionally curved it. We made it look a little bit whimsical, and we flanked it on this side with this drycrete. Now, this yucca plant. Do you know that we actually considered taking this thing out when we did this project? Again, 6 years ago, back in 2019, if I'm remembering correctly. We decided instead we were going to trim it up and leave this as a focal point for this yard. So now when you come through here, you almost step under it and walk through it. And it's just really a beautiful feature. You can't replace a yucca like this once you take it out. It will continue to try to grow back. In fact, you can see how, I think we even cut this back at one point, parts of it. So, but it just looks amazing. You can see here how part of it was cut back at one point, and it just grew in and went up all around it. So this is the kind of stuff that we took off. These pieces can easily be removed. You just kind of have to pull on them and they come off. So you can pull these off to trim up your yucca, and it'll start to look, well, this one's not trimmed. Let me show you one that's trimmed. Here you go. Basically, it'll look like this. Once you pull these off, it'll look nice and clean on your trunk. So I'm going to stick those back there for now. Why don't we pause for there? I'm going to show you a little bit more in the backyard. We're going to take a quick pause point just to shorten this video clip, and then I'll show you more what's going on in the back.